perfect. You try and try again and again to make something exactly the way you want it, and then finally, success. Oh, see here, we had a bit of help. From Mom. Hi, sweetheart. Can't wait to see you. Drive safe. Sorry, Mom. You know, it never fails to surprise me. You don't remember me. We've met before, you know. We spent lots of time together. Just yesterday, you drifted into another lane as you were trying to find your favorite song on the radio, and then you got angry as the truck driver blasted his horn at you. Remember that? Oh, and last week when you almost ran that stop sign because you had spilled a drink on yourself? So close. I was right there with you, both of those times, and not just you either. I know lots of people. You see, I'm all the things that people do or think about doing when what they ought to be doing is driving. I'm your cell phone, I'm your MP3 player, your toolbox. I'm the quick glance at your laptop, your briefcase, or your purse, the GPS, the only a second you spend on checking your makeup. I'm every distraction, every stray thought, every momentary glance away from the road. I'm all those things. And I'm in almost every car and truck on the roads nowadays, practically from the moment you buy it. Standard equipment. Like tires, except I never go flat. I never lose. It just takes me longer to win sometimes. But you give me so many chances. All the things you think of as little things. It's a shame they can't talk. Well, one of them will be able to talk, eventually. You see, I sort of lied. Oh, I was successful. They were distracted and crashed, but one of them will survive. He just won't be able to walk. Ever. Oh, you could ask him what happened, but, he's sort of out of it right now. I mean, it was a little thing. You could ask one of their moms. How about the driver's mom? Soon she'll have 2 state troopers in her home. And then a few moments later, she's going to be driving to the hospital to make an identification. Success breeds success. I doubt she'll be very attentive. Definitely distracted. But she's not the only card I have to play. This wreck over here? Now, if I'm lucky, another car will come along. Even an attentive driver's gonna have trouble dodging all of this stuff. And hey, maybe, just maybe, but this isn't a bad night's work all by itself, huh? In this car here, the driver's name was Chad. Good, hard-working kid. Saved for college. His mom had no money. Worked a few years in a local factory shipping department. Then he went away to college. Older than most students, but none more driven to learn. He was visiting on break, was gonna graduate this year. Too bad. His good friend Kevin, you know, the one who will make it but without the use of his legs, worked as an assistant manager for a local movie theater. Give you the shirt off his back. And the young ladies? Misty and Therese knew each other a long time, since they were in middle school. Misty was Kevin's cousin. He was like her older brother. Misty worked at a gym while trying to finish up at a community college. She wanted to teach special education classes. And Therese was a receptionist for a medical supplies company. She was going to move into sales soon. All right, like I said, Chad was on break. Kevin got them passes to see an afternoon movie. They saw a popular new mystery thriller. The movie trailer makes a big deal about not giving away the surprise ending. Surprise. In that car over there are Calvin Waters and Bill Jackson.
All right, then we've got a deal.
Calvin sold industrial energy systems. He made yet another sale. Congrats, Calvin. Calvin was in the military for a while. Lost his wife to cancer a few years back, and with no kids, really threw himself into his work. Calvin moved his mom in so he could take care of her. She loves to cook for him. Well, not anymore. Bill Jackson did the hard work and installed the equipment that Calvin sold. They got along well. Bill started his family later in life. Got twins, 2 young kids. They love to go to the park with him all the time. Guess his wife will have to do that now. Calvin and Bill travel all over the place doing their jobs, and at every location, they rent a car. Calvin says,
I want a vehicle that other cars can bounce off of.
the fact is, no matter what size the vehicle, there's plenty of bouncing in a crash at highway speed. I'm lucky with that one. Now, if you go back in time, I was having a lot less luck. Oh, people still ate in cars, lit cigarettes, looked at passengers instead of the road, and tuned their radios. But in general, there were fewer distractions in the vehicle, stopping me from getting my job done. But now, technology has helped me in too many ways to count. Yes, you have airbags and crumple zones and space-age plastics. But you also have music players that play video, a 2-for-1 for me. Fast food, satellite radios, data center devices, jobs that leave you feeling as though you have to work every second. And of course, my personal favorite toy, the cell phone. I've got all of you on speed dial and I can't seem to stop calling. And you always pick up. I love these things. First, you look to see who it is. That's a good 2 seconds of your eyes off the road. Then you answer. And believe me, you are never working harder for me than when you are using a cell phone. They've proven in study after study that cell phones affect you the same way that a couple shots of hard liquor do. But people who would never dream of getting behind the wheel drunk have no problem using their cell phones while they drive. Like those 4 people. Just a few hours ago, they were all moving down the road exactly the way they've done hundreds of times. Yeah. And look, every single one of them doing something with their cell phone. Okay. Chad, the driver, is talking to his college roommate about when he's going to get back from break.
You think maybe you could let me in?
Kevin is trying to access his work schedule for next week. Misty is in a chat with 2 other friends gossiping about Chad and Kevin. And Therese is texting some guy at work who thinks she's homesick.
Okay, see you Sunday. All right.
They're all terribly busy, and that's good for me. Here's something that's fun for me. All those studies that proved how dangerous cell phones are for you when you drive, they also prove that hands-free operation and that weird little device in your ear are just as bad as handheld. None of them are any safer for you. Could have told you, but you keep on doing that. Because when you do, you become a monster. Yeah, a monster. Because it's not really you. You've let yourself be taken over, made new, distracted and remade by technology. They've actually scanned the brain to see what happens during cell phone calls, and they found that if you're on the phone, you have 37% less brain activity available for driving. So let me get this straight. You're operating tons of metal hurtling down the road at a mile a minute, just inches away from other tons of metal, and almost 4 out of every 5 of you are saying, fine. I'm okay with doing this with 37% less brains. And you want to know what? I'd like to thank you. I showed you what happened to Chad and the gang earlier. But what about Calvin and Bill?
Our plane was late, and we have to get to this place in the south side of town. It's called Gladstone. Do I take 17 South?
There's a GPS system in all of our vehicles, no charge. Just type in the address and do what the nice lady tells you.
He does what any lady tells him.
Give me a break. Come on, let's go.
Strangers to the area, strangers to this particular vehicle, and in a hurry. This is almost going to be too easy. A lot of people are going to make sure that they have the seat and mirrors adjusted correctly. A few will even adjust the steering column, but most won't do more than that. You guys are real late. What time are you supposed to meet that operations manager? It was pretty soon, wasn't it?
Yeah, we're supposed to meet that Livingston guy at 5:30. It's almost 5:30 now.
We'll be fine. Just have to pick up the pace is all.
Well, he said if we didn't get there before security staff went home, we'd have to wait till tomorrow.
Remember, Calvin here was in the Army. He's used to hurry up and wait, and he's a little harder to push. But Bill works for me. You can figure out the route on the way over there. Just get on the highway.
Oh, man, it's going to take us forever to get out of this airport. This place is huge.
See if you can figure out that GPS thing.
Recalculating route. Reset route.
Well, why don't you tell me where your reset button is?
Help him out, Cal.
It's right there.
What, this one?
No, that one. Move.
Speed is one of my strongest tools. And I don't mean just crazy reckless speed, I mean normal, safe speed. At highway speed, you make 400 observations every 2 miles, if you're paying attention. From those observations, you make about 40 decisions. And about 1 of every 40 decisions is just plain wrong. I can follow this closely, I can pass here, and so on. Now, if you're making that many mistakes, even when you're paying attention, imagine how many you'll make if you're distracted. What happens if instead of the 400 observations you're supposed to make, you only make 350? You think I've got a good chance that one of the 50 you missed might be important? I sure hope so.
4 consecutive world titles. That's a dynasty.
It was a fluke. They just got lucky.
I love this. They're arguing about sports when they should be watching the road. Aren't they great? Excuse me, I'll just be a sec. Can we get a little air conditioning going?
Is it hot in here for you?
A little bit.
Let me see. Here's the AC right here.
No, that's the defrost. You have to use
That's not the defrost. This is the defrost. Look here.
People who get into unfamiliar vehicles without taking a few minutes to learn where everything is, those people are working for me too. The ones who can't find the wipers when it starts to rain, looking away from a rainy road. Or the ones who are trying to find a radio station in a new town. You're all working for me.
I got it, man. Just watch the road.
Hey, don't forget who you work for, pal. Calvin and Bill are not necessarily part of the generation that loves to multitask, but anyone can become what's called task-saturated, even the most devoted multitaskers. Look at our younger friends. Chatting, texting, tweeting, 4 of them in the vehicle and communicating with people who aren't even in this car. Can you believe that? And each of them deeply interested in what the other 3 are doing and who they're talking to.
Therese, tell him he's a moron.
They think of themselves as multitaskers because they can alt-tab between different computer screens while talking on the phone. Somehow they think this makes them more efficient, more highly skilled.
It's just how my friends and I work. We don't have to do one thing at a time to get everything done. We grew up with this stuff. Our brains are wired differently.
I love young people. The fact is, their brains aren't wired any differently. Neurologists have shown that there really is no such thing as multitasking. You're not capable of doing 2 things at once. What you're doing is switching very, very rapidly between the many things you're doing. And gee, guess what the result is? None of those things ends up being done as well as if you had given them the time and full attention they need. Which works just fine for me. As all of you slice time thinner and thinner, you're making my job easier and easier. You're not getting more done, you're getting less done and giving me more opportunities.
It was unreal. I go to change lanes, I check the mirrors, and I looked at the clock for like just a second. And out of nowhere, this idiot's right there and bam.
It's crazy.
I know, it's gotta be like the worst luck in the universe, you know?
Those are 2 of my favorite ideas. Only for a second and bad luck. The driver looks away from tons of metal flying all around him. And when there's finally a collision, that's bad luck. Don't you understand? Every time you let me into your head and you're not in a collision, that's good luck. And trust me, you don't want to know how stupid you sound when you say only a second. Time starts to mean some very different things when you add speed to the picture. 60 miles per hour is 88 feet per second. Even when you're paying attention, it takes between 1 and 2 seconds for you to recognize a problem and another second or 2 to react. Which means that most incidents eat up an entire football field of space, even when you're doing everything perfectly. If I can take your mind off the road for even 1 extra second, that 88 feet can be huge. Just because most of those mistakes never amount to anything doesn't matter. My job is to help you make enough mistakes so that it catches up with you. That one perfect moment when you're texting away or glancing at your phone just when the car in the other lane blows a tire. It's not your fault that the tire blew, but it's 100% your fault that you took your eyes off the road. There's no such thing as only a second. Of course, time has a very different meaning for some people. They think they have all the time in the world. Excuse me. Hey, Chad, why don't you see if that girl from college texted you? Ooh, looks like Chad's receiving a text. I wonder who from.
Hey, Chad, why do you keep checking your phone?
Oh, busted. Busted? She's a study partner. Ah, is that what we're calling it in college these days? Want to see what a real lunch feels like?
Come on, boys. Cool the testosterone.
No distractions in here, huh? Task saturation doesn't just mean the things you're trying to do. It also means the things which can demand your attention unexpectedly. A child pulling at your sleeve.
What?
Can we stop at the fast food restaurant, please? So what do you think
A friend who needs reassurance.
Okay, you have to do what your heart tells you.
Or an indicator light which starts to blink unexpectedly. Especially when you've got so many more important things to pay attention to, like little screens that talk without saying anything useful.
Choose a command.
Did you try reading the manual?
Is there a manual for that thing in the glove compartment?
Hey, maybe your map is better.
Man, get that thing out of the way.
I'm looking for the road.
You'd better get a move on. You're already late and it's starting to get dark.
Okay, look, let's just see if we can figure this out as we go.
This is how I like them. Rattled, tired, confused, in an unfamiliar vehicle, on an unfamiliar road. A road that had one other car on it, like this one. You people make it so easy for me.
Oh, wait, hang on. I think I see what I did wrong here. I put in Harper Street, supposed to be Harper Avenue.
You did what?
You know, some countries have outlawed the use of GPS systems, MP3 players, and of course cell phones. My numbers are way down in those places. But we don't need any stupid laws, do we, guys? No. We're at T-minus 90 seconds, and I'm in both vehicles having the time of my life. Hey, Kevin, I thought you hated this song.
Can we change this, please?
Don't you dare, I love this song!
Guys, stop! I'm trying to drive! Yeah, Misty, stop. You are not being seen.
Real mature, Kevin.
You better call that operations manager. Where's your cell phone, Bill?
Oh, I gotta call that guy. What did I do with my cell phone? Oh, I think I left it in my laptop bag. Where is it?
Is it on the floor back there?
Where?
Right there. No, over here.
Hey, Chad, shouldn't you text your mom and let her know the movie started late?
Ooh, Therese, will you text my mom and let her know we're running late?
Wow. Very responsible choice, Chad.
Right turn in 0.5
She's
miles.
talking to you, guys. You better look at that, Cal, and you too, Bill. And don't forget that phone call.
Man, what did it say?
I don't know.
Let me see.
Where are your contacts at? Is she on your speed dial, Chad?
Wow, Chad. Do you believe her? Help her out.
No, never mind. Here, just give it back.
Okay.
What the heck am I thinking? Here, Bill, just take my phone and call a guy. I'll check the directions.
Drifting. Just look for the number. It's only a second.
Oh, I'm a moron. I did put her on speed dial. Sorry, Therese. I'm just gonna text her real quick. It's easier.
Route recalculation. Make a
Oh,
left
man, what
turn
did I touch?
and then
It's
a
recalculating the
right
route.
turn in 3
Drifting.
miles.
No, we're on our way home right now. Chad, dude, there's somebody in the middle!
You know, I'd like to thank all of you. Every day you help me do things exactly like this, sometimes even better. It's very generous of you the way you help me because you definitely don't have to. There are so many reasons to keep me out of your vehicle and so many ways to do it. You already know most of them. Remember, talking on a cell phone while driving is like drinking 2 shots of liquor. Oh, but you know better, don't you? And hey, if your car is crowded, you don't have to turn it into a rolling party. If you need to check a map or your directions, wait until you can pull over. And hands-free or not, remember this, every cell phone has me inside it, turning you into a drunk driver with 37% less brain power than normal. You could just turn them off, but you're so generous. You're always there for me. Like finding the song I want, even if it takes your eyes off the road for only a second. You and your ton of automobile are often covering 88 feet per second. You should do everything you can to keep me out. But no, you're always happy to let me ride along. That's why I like you so much. Time to let the professionals take over. I'll see all of you again real soon. Sooner than you think.